There we go. Okay. Hi, everybody. Sorry for the snafus here. Getting started a little bit later than we wanted today with our community tournament finals. Our first community tournament of 2022. And we've got a great matchup here for you today. And it is between none other than Austin Shin, who should be a familiar face to many of us in the Scrabble Go community and the Scrabble community as well, against Drew Morgan, who is a very frequent competitor in these community tournaments and has made his way to his first finals as well. So once again, our first community tournament of 2022. Very excited to be bringing this live stream to you guys. And here is the route that these players took to get to the finals, beating a number of familiar faces along the way. Shout out to any of these players that are watching along in the chat. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody for participating in these community tournaments. It's a lot of fun for everybody involved. Why are we competing in this tournament? Well, not just for the fun of playing Scrabble, but for some really cool prizes as well. So you can see a lot of cool stuff at stake here. This beautiful tile, this champion tile, a little bit different than the one that you've seen last year. It's a revamped new tile for 2022, new year, new tile, in addition to a number of other really cool prizes, including subscriptions for 3 months of Scrabble Club to the winner, 2 months to the runner-up, lots of gems and tickets and other goodies. So whenever you see the opportunity to hop into these community tournaments, try not to miss it. There's some great prizes on offer for everybody. Also want to remind folks that we've got a couple of new offerings in the Scrabble universe. So, oops, hold on. So this actually is not the right logo. So basically, the first thing here is that we have a new web platform as well to play Scrabble on. Let me just get the other graphic looking correct. So yeah, there we go. Basically, we've got a new web platform, as I said, at playscrabble.com, still in beta, but available worldwide at this point. And then we also have, if you just stand by just a moment, we've got another really cool, and if you're watching on this channel already, you'll already know this, but we also have a new Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Scrabble. We're hoping to bring a ton of really cool Scrabble content to you throughout the year and beyond. A lot of cool content's already come your way, some coverage of live Scrabble events, hopefully more online tournaments just like this. So if that sounds appealing to you as a fan of Scrabble, you're looking to take your fandom of the game to the next level, head on over to this site, give us a follow. We're going to be giving you as much content as we possibly can. So with that, again, apologies for the late start to this game. Hold on. Jeez, the clock. Okay, so there we go. All right, so we have that all set up. So with that, I am going to let the players know that you guys can start anytime with our first game of the finals match. So I'm going to try to stay up to date with all of the comments that you guys are making on all different platforms. And I see on Twitch, Salem Ithendil says hello, nice to see you. And it is Austin's turn to start the game. And basically potentially the most common word that you are likely to see in Scrabble is played. So even champion level players like Austin, you can see, are making use of chi here. That seems like a perfect idea. Obviously, Austin with all consonants apart from that. So just some issues. on our end, just making sure we actually will be providing the board shot. Okay, as Andrew is basically, he's going to be giving me his letters on the Zoom call so that you guys can all play along with his side of the game. Have had some issues getting set up, but this is going to be how, so you're going to be seeing the board from Austin's point of view, and I'm going to be getting Andrew's letters so we can sort of work through what he's looking at. And what he's looking at is a whole bunch, too many vowels on his rack. So he's going to very likely be and not even an I. So you can see he has exchanged those tiles. I'll run a couple seconds off of the clock for him. It's back over to Austin, and it really is a tale of two racks for these two players here. And it looks like Austin is going to unload pretty much the most consonants that I could imagine him getting rid of here. 4 in one go by playing ninth. And that seems like a pretty reasonable choice for him here. He is obviously going to struggle to score very much. Neither player with that I that slots in right here under the Q, that would get you a whole bunch of extra points. Mitsurugi, nice to see you. I should note that the lexicon in use here is the U.S. English Dictionary, which is probably surprising, knowing that Austin is such a very strong player in the international dictionary. So a couple of options like the N hook here, not available in this game to Austin. But either way, he started off pretty well. Let's see if we can get Andrew to give his letters over. And we have to also start his clock now. So, okay, yeah, and he is indicating that he exchanged OOAO. Ooh, all right. So now, actually, much better letters for Andrew on this particular turn. He's got this. Pardon me for the blank not looking quite as good as it normally would. Again, calling a little bit of an audible as we were not able to get Andrew's screen to be nice and crisp the way we need. So he's got a blank here. Hey, Mitch. Hey, Flaming Toe Jam. My pleasure. Thank you very much for stopping by. So again, on this channel, we're doing all different types of Scrabble coverage. Lately, we've been doing a lot of coverage of PlayScrabble.com, our web platform. But this is our mobile app, Scrabble Go Community Tournament, our first of 2022. And Austin Shin versus Drew Morgan, our finalists here. And okay, so from this rack, it looks like just AIN for Drew. And the nice thing about that is I'm not 100% sure if he had bingos available there. And now he's got a nice lane that he set up for himself with some hooks, including his R. So it's now he's got BE and RR blank. So he has some stuff. Okay, so Austin plays depth. Continuing to sort of grind his way to a more balanced rack. And, and you can see Austin is preparing himself to play. You can see he's got a bingo there. But Drew, if he thinks of it, will potentially have bingos of his own with that. Oh, wait. Yeah, he is. Okay, I think I'm reading that correctly. So the tricky thing for Drew is that the word Branner would actually play here, but it really doesn't feel like a valid word, right? This is something where he should be experimenting with those letters that he has and see if he can come up with something. Okay, so he plays Ben, nice overlapping play, and Austin for sure is going to be playing Ferrite in a hurry, striking first with that bingo. Oh, and not only that, he's got an even better place for it now with these underlaps. Oh, but ENE isn't a word in this. Okay, so he's going to have to play ferrite where he originally imagined it. Very, very nice play for Austin. It does open a slew of nice tiles, potentially, for Andrew to play through, depending on what he's drawn. And I'm getting word from Andrew that he has the following letters. So his rack has gone from vowel overload to consonant overload in a hurry. So he's definitely going to be looking at some of these open vowels if he can come up with something like this E or this I. I'm actually not sure with those letters that he has anything. So yeah. Oh, hey, question from Etheridge too. It says, how do you play in one of these tournaments? The sign-up sheets for these tournaments, as we see, nice play with the Y there for Drew, playing underneath the B on the double word score and opening another triple lane. So this is kind of nice for Andrew, given that he has a blank. There's now 2 different spots open for him that will threaten really, really big plays for him. So yeah, these tournaments, the signups for these tournaments go up on Scrabble GO's Facebook pages and its official community groups. So if you are a follower of Scrabble GO on Facebook or the official community group, you'll eventually see the sign-up sheets for these tournaments, or the posts that explain to you how to sign up, all the prizes you can win. Yeah, I think this time around we had a really good response rate, as Austin, considering playing Cokiest, but now picks it up to play Ickiest for 42 if he decides to play this. Oh, and not only that, he's going to switch things around and potentially play Eikistic instead, which is Austin. It must be said, for anybody that's watching along, I'm sorry, also, it's Austin's turn right now. As he's getting ready to play. His clock was correctly running, though. All right, he ends up playing Kif instead. So the interesting thing about that is that he had more points on offer, but he kept much better letters in reserve. And the idea behind that is that Austin's looking to get another bingo as soon as he can. Okay, so letters for Andrew are as follows here. So he's got pretty good letters. It certainly looks like he is going to be looking at this T very closely with letters like that. He doesn't have a T, so looking through the T is going to combine very nicely with the letters that he has. And it feels like there should be something here. Let me just see. I'm only seeing chat messages right now from Twitch, unfortunately. So thank you to anyone watching along on YouTube and Facebook. I'll try to see how I can get those. Restream isn't giving me that information right now. Boy, this looks so promising, but for some reason I can't actually see a triple through this T. Anyway, we just start running Drew's clock here. But in this situation, for me, I would just be laser focused on trying to hit that big play through the T. These nice flexible letters, but amazingly, I don't think it's there. So yeah, this would be agonizing. In Andrew's position, he's trailing on the scoreboard. A play through the T, hitting both triple word scores, would score a massive amount. It would vault him into the lead pretty much instantly. So you have to be looking in that spot. I'm sure that's what he's doing. But at some point, he's going to have to cut bait if he realizes that there isn't anything there to be found. Tantalizing. Hello to M28Ale on Twitch, and to Binac, of course, on Twitch as well. Nice to see you guys. So yeah, no triples. So I assume then that the backup spot, if you can't play through here all the way, maybe there's a way to, I think there's definitely words that play through the T. well, I guess I'm not sure if Ravenist is going to be acceptable in this lexicon, actually. But at the very least, this I is also quite tempting. If there were to be something that fits, I think there are at least one or two things that fit and hit both of the double word scores here. But either way, it is extremely tantalizing to try and get that miraculous triple through that spot. Bynak asks, is it worth it to take the points for the double and leave the triple open? I would say in general, it probably is, except that Austin just played Kiff, which looks really scary to me, right? So the previous play of just the K and the I by itself, as you can see, nice play by Drew of Taverns, bingoing for 72. A couple more points available for him there, but still can't knock getting that bingo down. And, not the best post-bingo draw here for Andrew. So he is back to having too many vowels that he's going to have to deal with. And Austin very, very quickly playing Society to the open tee. That seems like a great idea to score quite well for Austin and to maintain a nice sized lead. So it will be back over to Drew. And now both players struggling with very similar racks here. Too many vowels for both. As we all know, having played lots and lots of Scrabble, one thing to have too many consonants. Sometimes with too many consonants, you can at least play through a vowel on the board and score a bunch of points. With too many vowels, it's very difficult to score much. So a lot of situations where having those vowels can be sort of the turning point of your game, or the point at which your game is derailed a little bit. What do you guys think? What would you guys prefer, having too many consonants or too many vowels? Love to hear if anybody out there disagrees, if maybe those consonants are the letters that you fear most. So anyway, it is Drew's turn here. So let's make sure we reflect that. He's trying to work his way through these vowels. He ends up playing Lee parallel to ferrite. So the thing about that, it scores decently, 13 points. He did use up both of his E's, and he used up both of his E's and one of his consonants. So he's going to still be in a little bit of trouble with respect to his consonant vowel balance, but he has drawn another L. And let's just get his rack updated. There we go. So he's drawn an H. That will definitely help him quite a bit in order to score something decently on his next turn. Richard Spence on Facebook said that Ravelins would have scored 90. Also, Kate Daly says Drew could have used the I for aversion through this I right here. Good finds to both of you. That would have been really, really nice. Aversion would just have hit there. As you can see, Austin is deciding to exchange. He's taking a look at the tile bag before he does, just to measure how many of the different vowels he should be keeping, if any. And he's going to keep just ER. Oh, and he's drawn the second blank. A huge draw for Austin here. That second blank, almost certainly, in a player like Austin's hands, he is almost a lock to find somewhere to bingo on the next turn. Austin, really one of the strongest players in the world, in fact. So this is somewhat of a David and Goliath matchup here between Austin and Drew. But Drew has made his way to the finals, beating some solid players as well. It is back to Drew here. I think actually Austin's clock needs to be run a little bit, as I had forgotten. So let's just not penalize Drew unfairly for that mistake. But But yeah, this is going to be tough. Drew has that H. He's going to be looking to see if he can use it. For those of you playing the UK English Dictionary, CH is not an option here for the players. So it's going to be trickier to find a really great spot for that H to play. As we'll reflect now that it is actually Drew's turn. So Austin with Morgs set up on his rack. You can see he has it all spelled out. That will play right here. It's possible that Austin will try first to play it here before realizing that Rio is not valid in this dictionary. So we're very likely to see Morgs be played right here. Okay, so there it is. That's a nice spot for the H for Drew. He's actually very, very close on the scoreboard right now, as you can see. It's 168 to 186, but Austin is about to strike here with that next bingo. It's going to put him way far ahead in this game, and it's going to require that Drew find a bingo of his own in a hurry. And there it is. Morgs is the play from Austin. So, yeah, you can see Drew nodding his head. In respect, but also realizing that this is going to be a tough comeback trail for him. And Austin already experimenting with his next play, seeing a pretty nice overlapping spot alongside Ra to score with some kind of a high scoring consonant like the W. Former finalist himself, Colin Halliday, says too many consonants gets more points than too many vowels. And yeah, I think I agree with that. So yeah, that's generally my feeling that, definitely there are situations where that consonant overload can be just as frustrating, but maybe a few more situations where even with 7 consonants, you find a way to score 20, 30, maybe even 40 points, whereas that rarely happens with vowels. So hello on YouTube to Kasiti Garba. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. How many 7-letter words were you learning a day to get to 20,000 words? I assume that's a question to me personally, although it could just as easily be to Austin or any of the other strong Scrabble players out there. It's hard to say. I don't really think of learning the dictionary as something where I'm trying to learn a certain number of words each day. I think of it as more, I want to spend a certain amount of minutes each day on it. So basically, for me, I don't really think about it as I'm going to set out to learn 100 words today. I think of it as I'm going to spend 15 minutes learning words today, and then I'm going to spend 15 minutes learning words tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. And over time, you find that the number of words you learn does tend to add up quickly. And I think it's more relaxing to think of it as just something you do for 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, as opposed to you're going to set yourself this deadline to learn a certain number of words. Drew is okay. He finally decides he's going to play his one of his 2 O's and a P parallel to Morgs, and Austin is very, very quickly going to pop down one of his. He's thinking about whether he wants to play WOB for 32 or WAG or WAT. So a bunch of different options all in the same spot. This is, it's hard to know which of these plays is necessarily the best. They all accomplish slightly different things. WOB instead, if you played the B, Austin would have gotten a couple of extra points there. WAG is a couple fewer points, but the G is a very toxic tile without the I and the N to accompany it. ING is where the G derives a huge amount of its value. And then obviously Austin also had 2 T's on his rack, and keeping duplicated tiles is something to avoid as well. So there were a lot of different possibilities there for Austin. He goes with WAG. I actually like that choice for him. Okay, so very quickly, Drew playing Ram, trying to create some more space for himself on the board. And Austin is about to play Beget nearly instantaneously. I can barely keep up with these guys. And that's going to score quite nicely as well. And it's back over to Drew, and he continues to sort of be in a little bit of imbalance. Hey, a couple nice comments on Twitch. Clara's free coffee. Good luck to both players. Scrabble Go's free coffee tournament room sends a special shout out to Andrew. Yes, it sounds like so. Just having met Andrew briefly prior to, let's get his clock running here. Prior to setting up for this tournament, seems like a lovely guy, really, really friendly, and a very strong player to boot. So no surprise that he's well-liked in his Scrabble Go communities. And thank you very much to Wandering Bishop for the kind words. The Slate article, yes, that was a lot of fun. One of our great ambassadors for Scrabble, Stefan Fatsis, writing a really cool article about pretty amazing anecdote that happened where I was a bit player. I'm glad that I could have contributed to that amazing article. If you go to Slate or search on Google for Slate Scrabble, I'm sure it will come up. A really cool story about something that happened at a recent tournament I was a part of. Anyway, it's an 100-point lead here for Austin in this first game. And Andrew continuing to try to sort of create more space here on the board. He may be trying to set up his D in this spot for goad if he can draw something like that. But it will be back to Austin, and Austin is going to very quickly take that nice S hook on Rems. And that makes a lot of sense from Austin's POV. He had 6 consonants and only 1 vowel, including the S. This is a great way to score nicely, using 3 of his consonants while getting a pretty good score. So his rack has definitely gone in the wrong direction away from bingoing. He has drawn another S, which is nice. But really, at this point in the game, Austin is less concerned about bingoing again and more concerned about just keeping the board nice and closed and making things difficult for Drew to come back. And a nice play there of Doze. That, I think, gets the Z on the double letter score, and it has a nice effect of creating a lane. But I can tell you that I'm just getting word from Andrew about his letters, and they are not cooperating with his quest to get another bingo down at all. So Austin playing Sud. Oh, that's a nice play. Look at that. Really, really nice. 38 points. I mean, that is a super nice play. I think I'm probably just going to go ahead and do this, and instead of using the border, I'm struggling to keep up with that. I'm just going to use the timer. So to determine who is playing, just make sure we're looking at the timer. Okay. So Austin with a pretty good sized lead here. Again, this is a best of 3, so Drew still has chances even after he if this game goes in Austin's direction, which it certainly looks like it will, we will definitely be getting at least one more game. And if Andrew can win that, we'll move on to a third and tie-breaking game to see who is our winner at the first community tournament in 2022. So, all right. So Veil is the play, undoubling one of those 2 L's for Drew. Makes a lot of sense. To try to get one of the 2 L's off the rack and make another place to play. Austin just playing his X all by itself very quickly in response. And the rack gets no better for Drew here. Back to Drew's rack. Oh, he makes a nice play, though. So he plays wool with the OXO hook very quickly. Nice idea. That's not your everyday hook. The O hook on ox, a word that definitely appears very, very frequently. in Scrabble. It's not an everyday word, like I said, but ox is so frequently seen in Scrabble that knowing this O hook is going to be really useful to you. That's a great word to have in your toolbox. So nice play there by Drew. But Austin, you can see he's been looking at the tile bag. The bag is now empty. And poor Andrew has really not had a good go of it with the tile drawing in this game for sure, as his final rack consists of, look at this, we were talking about consonants and vowels, and you could see just not the right balance at all for Drew here in this game. So Austin playing Jin, getting that J in a good spot for a solid score. Again, Austin playing just at a lightning speed here, as he is just very, very accurate, very solid player, one of the best in the world. And we're seeing why in this game for sure. So quick play in response by Drew of just O-E-A-U, one of the words we steal from Scrabble. Thank you very much to Randy Clancy on Facebook. Says, wow, love Scrabble Go. So do I. We love it. Glad to hear that you're enjoying. And Colin adds that nice vocab, Austin. Yeah, he's got a pretty prodigious vocabulary, to be sure. I would say that there are not that many players in the world where I would say there's a chance that he could see literally anything in the dictionary. I wouldn't be surprised, and Austin is one of those. So it is worth noting that Austin is playing in a dictionary that is slightly less familiar to him, but the the Merriam-Webster dictionary, is just a subset of the UK dictionary. So if you are a player of Merriam-Webster and you want to play in the UK English dictionary, all the words that you know will still be good. They'll still be valid. And so Austin, what he has to do is figure out which of the words that I know from UK English can I not play in this game. So he's not only seeing all of the plays that are playable in this game, he's even seeing more plays that he might play in the UK English. So, all right, so just unmuting myself so the players can hear me briefly. That's the first game. If you guys are all set, we're happy to dive into game 2 with no delay. Happy to rematch. I think maybe, Austin, if you want to rematch and pass your turn so that Andrew can have a chance to go first in the next game, and then we'll see where we're at after this game. That works great. So Austin's going to rematch anytime he wants and pass his turn to Andrew, and we're going to get started with our second game here. All right, let's get the clocks reset as well. So it'll be over to Andrew. Solid round by Austin, says tilting at windmill. Yes, for sure. Austin played not only very accurately, but also very efficiently on the clock as well, I must say. So we're going to see what Drew has gotten once he gets the game request. Hopefully he receives it here. Not sure what his letters are. Let me just remind him. Okay, never mind. He plays oink to start the game. Okay, he says he has iOS left on his rack. And oh man, look at this. Austin getting exactly the letter he needs, and he just hammers a 90-point bingo. As you can see Andrew emoting, he's saying, oh man. Yeah, you can see Austin is saying, wow, what can you do, right? The perfect letter, the O, comes down, and Austin playing Sunrooms immediately from his rack of SUNROMS. That's just something that you can only get to that point by training and practicing. I know that Austin can find Sunrooms, but the fact that he found it so fast, that's preparation. That's a lot. Yeah, Drew's rack is, I have it here. It's not pretty. After oink, he left iOS, and he drew this. So this is not ideal. So let me put this into Okay, he plays off his Q. That makes sense. Anytime you have that Q at this level, players at this skill level are looking at the Q less as something good, and Austin trying a word valid only in UK English. And I think he's about to. Oh, drench would work for him if that's what he goes with. That looks pretty good. But anyway, just to continue, at this level, the Q, which you look at it and you say, man, that's a really nice score, 10 points on that tile. But at this level where the players are much more accustomed to playing those 7 and 8 letter bingos that give you those 50 bonus points, the Q is really bad towards that goal. And not only that, it's so reliant on the U to go with it that it doesn't even perform as well as the Z or the J or the X, all those other high point tiles. The Q really can clog up your rack and derail your game much faster than any other tile. So that 10-point face value on it is just, it's a little bit of a fool's gold. So you see both players have, in the first game, Austin immediately got rid of his Q, and Drew doing the same in this game. Okay, Austin plays Lynch here, getting rid of as many consonants as he can. He had been considering Drench as well. But Lynch has the advantage of keeping that E. So we were talking before about what would you rather have, right? Would you rather have, but let me not run Drew's clock needlessly. We were talking about, would you rather have too many consonants or too many vowels? In that same vein, whenever you can make a play like this that leaves your one vowel, it's a pretty good idea to do so, just so that, look at the situation that Austin finds himself in right now, right? He has the blank. Nice play of Joist, by the way. Really, really nice. Play scoring a pretty solid amount for Drew there. 39 points, paralleling his J. Let me just get his tiles. It looks like he's drawn too many E's there. Actually, there is a bingo in these letters in the UK English Dictionary, not that it pertains to this particular game. But just to continue my point, on the previous turn for Austin, he managed not to play his E. And you can see, look at his letters here, right? You can see he's got 5 consonants and only 1 vowel. Had he used that vowel on his previous turn, his options on this turn would be greatly diminished. So that discipline by Austin to say, well, okay, I have a bunch of different choices here. Is there any way I can keep my 1 vowel for next turn? That's going to pay off for him here, as he's going to figure out a way to play something that either uses that vowel for more points, or maybe he'll just play something leaving. Yeah, I was going to say he might just play from in this spot if he can't find anything better, and hope to draw something with the rest of his letters that bingos elsewhere. Considering just playing F-E-G-S, I think the nice thing for him here is that he has some good bingo tiles. The things that aren't as good is the F, the B, and the G. So he's going to try to play as many of those tiles as he can. And it may be the case that he can't play 2 out of those 3, so he'll have to settle for just the 1, the F. He's tilting at Windmill says should be close to a bingo. RC Spence, hey Richard, a 2-time former not just finalist, but champion of this event in 2021, Richard Spence. Nice to see you, Richard. Jettison would have been a pretty amazing play from Drew's perspective on his previous turn of Joist, but Lynch got in the way of that N. That's a really cool comment. Ashley on Facebook says, Drew, those racks were what mine looked like during our semifinal games. You'll need to make more sacrifices to the Scrabble gods for next game. That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, there's no level of skill that you can reach in this game that will prevent you from having some of those draws and from getting into those tough situations. It happens to all of us, even champion level players. There's no escaping it in Scrabble, which is, you can think of that as a negative when you're enduring it, but also I think of it as kind of a positive. I like it that there's some uncertainty every time you're going into a game. Is this going to be the game where I draw amazing? Is this going to be the game where I draw horribly and I have to work as hard as I can to even stay in the game? Not knowing how things are going to unfold before the game starts is kind of a feature, not a bug for me. So anyway, this is a tricky one. Again, Austin has struck first with the giant bingo of sunrooms for 90. But since that time, Austin's consonant overload has slowed him down a little bit. He had to play this. He had to play this. So it gives Drew another opportunity to potentially work his way back into the game. He plays undie. That's a pretty cool, a pretty obscure word. Austin pretty instantly is going to play wedgie for 39, which that's a great way to get all that clunk off of the rack, leaving just a B and a blank. And now we're seeing slightly better letters here for Austin. I would assume that somewhere in here, he's likely to be, well, I don't know. It's going to be tough. I see at least one bingo. I'm sure Austin is going to spot it as well, again, because he is so adept at finding those 7 and 8 letter words. But the trick is basically Drew's letters, as he's told them to me, really unappealing. He's definitely going to be looking through this Y if at all possible, but I'm not really sure. Okay, and the word that I saw for Austin, he has spotted it as well, habitant. That's just really high level word finding. It's not surprising at all from Austin. There may be other stuff available, but you can see he's poised to bingo a second time on his next turn, and that's going to be tough for Drew. It's just you're watching a really strong player in action here, and this is basically Scrabble at a really high level from Austin. No slight to Andrew either, who's played very well, but it really can be like running into a freight train sometimes with someone like Austin when he's drawing anything to work with. This game is sort of hanging in the balance right here. Once again, it is a 1-0 lead. Maybe I can get that on screen for you guys just so that we can see it. So it's clear to anyone watching what the situation is. So hold on. So this was going to be Austin, and we're going to get this in the correct spot here. Austin leads 1-0. There you go. So now we can at least see what exactly is happening in this series for you guys. Okay. So, Drew this is not a good set of tiles. The nice thing is that he has some core of this rack that could potentially become a bingo. But again, when you see on Drew's rack, when you see the B, the C, the P, the G, all of these high point tiles together, a lot of those high point tiles like to be the star of the show. They like to be the one high point tile available on the rack. And there are a handful of high point tiles that mesh well together, like the C and the K, the W and the H. Just by random chance, you get certain combinations that work quite well together, but combinations like the B and the P, and even the G and any of those letters, are just not ideal. As we see Baguette, this makes a lot of sense to me. He's trying to get some of those high point tiles off the rack. The amazing thing about Baguette is because of the web hook, he has blocked Austin's ability to play Habitant, right? So now it doesn't go down because normally this A hook, Austin's about to try a word that's valid only in UK English. So that would have been valid in the UK lexicon. It's not valid here. So again, the A that would have played here with just AWE is no longer available after the B goes down. So unbeknownst to him, Drew has bought himself potentially a little bit of time here to get his way back into the game before Austin can bingo a second time. It's also possible that I'm missing another bingo opportunity for Austin that I'm not seeing here. Prior to the play of Beget, RC Spence saying maybe just Sep on top of Wedgie. That would have been a cool idea as well for Drew on his previous turn, scoring quite well. So, Austin, it seems like he is going to have to come up with something that's not a bingo here. This spot to the Y is very tempting, but it doesn't look like he actually has anything that useful there. So he'll need to be looking somewhere else. I was going to say he might be tempted to play Bath. The reason that you would play Bath in this situation, it scores 18 points. That's not great. It's not terrible. The reason that he would do this, and let me run some more of Austin's clock because I forgot to press it. The reason that Austin would do this is that the B and the H on his rack were the weakest tiles for bingoing. They are the highest scoring tiles, but as we know, the higher scoring your tiles, usually, the less likely you are to play bingos. It's those low point tiles that let you play a bingo. As we can see, Austin, I think, is now very much on the verge of getting that second bingo that's going to put him pretty far in the lead. All right, Drew playing Prey. That makes a ton of sense from his POV. The reason he's doing that, he had 2 Ps, 3 Es. He undoubles his Ps and untriples his Es and scores 27 points while he's at it. That makes a ton of sense. So it's back to Austin. We can start his clock here. So the scores are still not quite out of reach for Andrew, but again, Austin is poised to bingo a second time, just like last game where the game was pretty close most of the way, but really Drew needed to be the one to get that next bingo down before Austin, and Austin struck first. He is so precise. He lets so few chances get past him. So it is Austin's turn here. We know that he has seen Outland as a possible bingo. I know what he's doing is he's just taking the time to look. Do I have anything to the R? Do I have anything crazy to the P? Do I have anything to the K? And he's ultimately decided he doesn't have anything that he can spot, and I don't think there is anything through those letters, and he's going to play Outland for 65 here, and that's going to be a pretty good size lead for him. So you can see Drew is saying, oh no, and oh my gosh, and amazingly, Austin's drawn another bingo if he spots it, which I fully expect him to. Dadaism. And I think if he sees that, that's going to be game, set, match here because it plays right here with Outlands. And I really think there's very little chance that we're going to see that be blocked. Nice play of Coven for Drew to that N. He could have potentially played some things here and here maybe. Actually, with that rack, I'm not sure what. I guess Peeve might have been a possibility. Oh, wow. Okay, Austin maybe isn't stopping to think of Dadaism. This is a tiny, tiny break here. He goes ahead. Austin plays Maid, which honestly, if you're going to miss a bingo, scoring 36 points, closing the board, leaving nice letters for next turn, you could do a lot worse. So that is a rare, not perfectly accurate play from Austin, but he's still in really, really good shape here. So you can see the score, Austin up 110 points going into this turn, and Drew once again. Oh man, so on his previous turn, Drew left PEE. That's not that bad. It's not that imbalanced, and he drew AIEU, and that's just not. That's not his. That's not on him, frankly. So he plays taupe, just getting as many points as he can. That makes sense to me. Eric on Facebook says, I know where Andrew is. My trays betray me like that too. Yes. If you play Scrabble long enough, that will for sure happen at some point. It is the agony and the ecstasy of Scrabble. When you're on the receiving end of draws like that, it's no fun. But hopefully, the way I think about it is hopefully next game it'll be better. And I like it as we see Austin play Axe for a really nice score with his X down in the corner. And now he is going to have, I'm pretty sure, he's set up his what should be the final bingo here. Not final of the game, but this should decide the game pretty effectively here. And you can see Austin setting up Adorers on the rack. It plays in a bunch of different places. And this is definitely, you can see Drew's rack again. He's done his best to play as many vowels as he can on the previous turn, and he's just drawn a bunch more of them. Austin experimenting with Outlanders here. Unfortunately, I guess it's not that unfortunate that Outlanders is not a valid word, given that he has Adorers set up to go down in any of these two spots. I'm sure maybe there's other options for him. So this is certainly looking like Austin's game, and that would be game, set, match in our best of 3 in the community tournament finals here. So I don't really know that Drew has any way of saving himself from getting hit with this bingo here, again, because there are 2 S-hooks on the board, Outlands and then taupes, and it's going to be really hard to block both of those for Andrew with just an F and 6 vowels to work with. So once again, the prizes at stake here as we wait for Drew to decide on his next move. You can see this beautiful tile. It looks like that will be Austin's to claim, but really nice prizes available for Andrew as well, including a tile of his choice, a couple months of Scrabble Club, 700 gems, lots of stuff on offer for our players here. So that's okay, there we go. There's the F. Down it goes, blocking the play of taupes, but Austin will have his backup play here of Adorers, already up by a pretty sizable margin, and that is going to increase here with this play. And we'll see as Andrew gets the bad news. Yeah, he's aware. And to add insult to injury, Austin draws the second blank in this game as well. So back over to Drew. He's got, let's see, he says that he has a V and a Z on his rack here. And we'll just have to see. But this game looks like it's pretty... Oh, wow. Sorry. Zax was the play very quickly. From Drew's perspective, that makes total sense. So we've seen Drew play Oxo and Zax in both of these 2 games, showing that as an experienced player, he knows some of those really, really useful words that show up over and over again if you know them. That play scored 52 for him, so it got him a pretty nice chunk on the scoreboard. Let me see here. So we would have, look at this rack, actually. I don't think it's going to help very much, but rack of this for, rack of Inweave for Drew. I don't think that's actually going to help him terribly much. Andrew's full name is Drew Morgan. I actually asked whether he goes by Andrew or Drew, and he said his family and friends, my family and friends call me Drew, so welcome to the family, is what he said to me, which I thought was funny. Very, very friendly guy. We'll hear from him after the game about what he thought here, but of course, this has just been the Austin Shin show as he's just put on a clinic of bingo finding and scoring. Austin's motto in the Scrabble community, as he likes to say, is scoring never stops. And that is a testament not only to his play finding ability, but also to his mindset, which I feel like he is absolutely relentless in tournament format. For those of you that remember, in 2020, we did another live stream Scrabble Go event called the NASPA Tournament of Champions. You can find all the videos on our YouTube channel, where we're also live right now. But Austin was the winner of the NASPA Tournament of Champions. And, oh, beautiful play of Weaver by Drew. Look at that, scoring 50 points. So really, really nice last pair of plays there by Drew, scoring 50 in the bottom left and 50 in the top right. That's quite impressive pair of plays there. And the letters for him are now E-I-I-L-N-N-T. Okay. So, all right. Looks like nice play here by Austin. Not sure, if this, a family stream here. Not sure if we need to hide the kids and hide the people of gentle sensibilities here. Not sure what puns we could make. Yeah, about finding this word, which Austin has been able to do. But really, really nice play by Austin for 80 points. And that's just a ton of flashy, way to end this game here. So you can see the score has become quite lopsided in a game that was quite close throughout. So really, this is just what happens when a player like Austin draws some good stuff. Binax says this was on Josh's 24-hour stream. Yeah, Axer Typo, who for those of you guys that have been watching our content here on twitch.tv/Scrabble, Josh Sokol, very, very common presence on the show. And apparently he played that word as well. So I guess it's just in the air here. So yeah, that's gonna do it. That was a really impressive performance. Obviously, Austin playing amazingly well, also getting some great stuff to work with. Whereas Andrew made several awesome plays in this game, but by the time his tile started to cooperate, it was a little bit too late. So I'm gonna have you guys unmute yourselves and just let's see if we. Not sure if I'm okay. Looks like you guys have both unmuted. So, all right. That's it. Austin is going to be the winner here, 2-0. Congratulations, Austin, and commiserations to you, Drew. That was just tough. Why don't we just start with Austin? Austin, what were your thoughts on the match? It's certainly that final game. You caught fire with the bingos, but the games were pretty close for most of the way, I would think.
You can win pretty easily, just with what you get. So, but yeah, it was just lucky to get two good games. Just two lucky games, really. That's what I can really say.
Yeah, it was. The luck is one thing, but playing stuff like Sunrooms within seconds of seeing the O come on the board, there's definitely in Scrabble. It's always that combination of luck and skill, and clearly, the viewers on the broadcast were fully aware that a lot of skill was being displayed. And also, over to you, Drew. There were a lot of. So first of all, there were a couple of people specifically shouting you out as somebody that they were rooting for in their communities, and that you've got quite the fan base, first of all. And secondly, you had a lot of people sort of groaning along with some of the draws that we were putting up for you, and that's just how the game goes sometimes. So you did manage to get a number of really impressive plays down, but certainly it seemed like you were fighting your tiles a lot of the time.
You know it. The only to like the happiest rack I had was for that taverns. And I was looking at it so hard because I was trying to play off that tee that was on the, the perimeter so I could get two of the double triples. And I just couldn't come up with that word.
You
I
know
know it.
that the crazy thing about that was there was nothing through that tee that hit both triples. So see, look at the look of relief. So for our perspective, I was looking at that and I couldn't believe it when I said, "Oh my God, look at how beautiful these letters are!" Right? You've got A, E, R, N, S. The only fly in the ointment, the V, along with that blank, and there were a million words that might have fit through that V, but didn't quite fit on the board, and nothing that really fit through there to hit both triples. So I was just wondering, like, are you going to be able to sort of cut bait on that turn and move on to the, not use too much of your clock on there, which you did do. So that was, that was nice to, I would have been tempted to stare at that for quite a while.
Will do. If it was, you know what I mean? I wouldn't go back on for hours. I'd just be standing there. It's got to happen. It's got to be there. So that, you know what, that alleviates some stress off my shoulders. If I couldn't have made it, then I'm happy I went with Taverns.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, Taverns was definitely, among the better options that you had there. So no sweat. It obviously is nerve-wracking to think that, we're sweating along with you and hoping that if there is a word there that you're going to find it. But in this particular case, it just wasn't there. So that's why you had that feeling. So, yeah, but in this game, it was just what can you do? You play Oink, leaving a pretty nice balanced lead with the S and get hit with a 90-point play immediately. That's just how it goes. Yeah, the nice thing is that you guys each get some pretty cool prizes for being here. Nice gems. Drew, you'll get a tile of your choice. And of course, as we said, Austin gets perhaps the most coveted prize, which is this really snazzy 2022 Champions tile. So, yeah, that was it was a very fun match to watch. And yeah, it's I guess any final thoughts from you guys? Oh, I should also say that just wanted to shout Austin out specifically. Just if anybody is watching along with Austin saying, wow, this guy is amazing at Scrabble, just want to say Austin has started streaming himself on Twitch as well at twitch.tv/Austinho9. So look out for Austin. I think the best thing to do would be to we're going to link him on our own Twitch channel at some point. So that everybody can catch up with his streams there. So yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, the links going in Twitch where the links are auto modded on Twitch. So Jello Mocha is helpfully posting it in a format you can see. But again, we're gonna try to be supporting all things Twitch streaming from our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Scrabble. So just want to shout Austin out, enjoying his streams and hope to see more of those. So anyway, yeah, final thoughts, either of you guys, starting with Austin before we call it a broadcast here.
I just want to say thanks to Drew. Been a very worthy opponent. He had to make through the 32 players in this tournament, and he had a great tournament. Thanks to all the organizers as well for setting this up. And yeah, thanks to Scrabble Go and Scope League.
Awesome.
And you, Will, and you.
Thank you very much. Any thoughts from you, Drew, before we sign off here?
Yeah, I'm sharing the sentiments. Congratulations, Austin. That was awesome. It was a tour de force, so that was really, really great. And thank you, Will, for commentating, and for Glenn Copley and the gang from Scrabble Go for inviting in the first place and running the tournament efficiently, wonderfully. I know it's not always easy, like behind the scenes. You guys do it super smooth. So thank you.
It is a lot of fun. And again, we thank you guys for taking part and putting on a great show for us. Thank you very much to everybody watching along on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. Really appreciate it, and hope to be live again. Again, our Twitch channel, we're hoping to bring you as much more Scrabble content as we can in the coming months and beyond. So with that, thanks again, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you again soon.